Alright, so let's finish up the bee chapter. We've got the soulful wax. We already have that bee. She's hanging out right there. And we've got the draconian bee. That's her up there. We've got... This is the watery bee, and I'm working right now on getting the watery propolis as well as the unstable propolis, which is that right there. So we've got those guys, and then what's next? We've got the wind sapling. That's done. We've got a couple of them in our inventory. Let's see, the soulful wax we've got that bee. So all that's left is to make the impregnated frames, the database, liquid DNA bucket, and those two machines. So there is a problem. The arborist chest that you need to make the database crashes the client. It just like hangs the whole thing and freezes. So I'm going to demonstrate it right now so that you know that I'm telling the truth, not making stuff up, but yeah. So yeah. There we go. It just freezes the whole client and then you have to restart. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then when we come back, we'll just cheat the stuff in. We'll throw out the materials we would have spent and just cheat the actual item in. Alright, and we're back. So in order to make the arborist chest, we're going to need 5 saplings. I'm not sure if they're forestry specific, but I grabbed those anyway. Then we're going to need a chest and a piece of glass. Then we're going to throw all that in the trash. So let's go into cheats. Oh, I need to turn on LAN. Cheats on and creative. Start LAN. Okay, got that going. Alright, so now we need to turn on cheat mode. And then we're going to grab the chest, the actual arborist chest out of JEI, and then move on. Awesome. Alright. Soulful wax. I know we have tons of this by now. Yeah. Okay. That done. Done. Oh, we need the impregnated frames. Crap. So close, and yet so far. That's not a big deal. That's just making, like, sticks. Why? Don't I have the thing? Oh, they've got stuff in them. Oh, no. Oh, wait, that has the MC value. Actually, let me just get fresh ones out of the table. And, what's the other one? Replicator? Okay. Now let's turn them in. There we go. Oh. Why doesn't that count the sapling? Didn't I get one out? That is definitely the right sapling. There we go. Just didn't like that other one for some reason. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, let's check these guys in here. I'm not going to make use of those machines in any way. I don't really care about them, so we'll just throw them in there and be done with that. Okay, so I'm going to make the impregnated sticks that we need to make the frame, and all that is just a little bit of wait time, so we just need to make the sticks, which is made in a carpenter like so. So I'll be right back. Alright, last guy. Impregnated frame. And bam. Look at that. We are done with the bee chapter. Sweet. I don't think we got any actual rewards. We just got money for that. Alright. Awesome. Now we can be done with these forever. So, by the way, I made the Elorium bees thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have learned my lesson from the chickens. The bees don't make Elorium either. So we're gonna have to, I was going to complete the quest book anyway, so we would have to get into automated ore collection at some point just for completionist value. But I didn't really want to get into it too early because I wanted to get the city up and running. I definitely did not want to do it in the, in the druids part. But if we're gonna get extreme reactors up and running, we're gonna need to get Elorium. So we are gonna have to collect it via the like environmental tech stuff. So that sucks. I wanted to play around with Thaumcraft a little more before we really got into super technical stuff. But I think that the next episode we're going to have to set up environmental tech, so that means I'm going to have to build at least the foundations for the city outline and get started on that pretty quickly, because we're not, gonna have a stockpile of Yellorium when we get it ready to go, which is never a good thing. So we're gonna have to work on that. Oh, derp. Accepts any ingot uranium. Alright, well, I guess we don't need Yellorium in this pack, although this would not take uranium when I tried this at the very beginning. Let's see. No. Okay, so some things it looks like are or dictionaried for uranium and some are not. Okay, well, that's fine. So it wouldn't have worked there anyway, but we can substitute our now 2 sources of uranium for Yellorium to get started. Alright, so first things first, I already recorded a bunch of stuff, and yesterday was a really bad day for me, and it sounded basically like just Minecraft was the worst thing in existence. So I am actually going to get a trash can out and break everything that I did and redo it in a more fun and upbeat type of way. If I can... Oh, right, this thing. I'm gonna rebuild all of this. We'll go over it again, and I also fought the Wither. We'll do it again. We'll do everything again. I was not at all having a good day. So, let's see. I think all of that. I think that was everything. Okay, so yeah, let's do it again. So we got into ProjectE, and like I said, we fought the Wither. So the first thing that I did was create the Morning Star, and it's from the quest book. It's like a multi-tool, a really big multi-tool. So let's make this guy. And obviously on harder difficulty packs, this techs up nicely as you progress. On this pack, we're just gonna go for it, as this pack plays out, like it has always been. This is really not a pack about, grinding until your face melts off. It's a pack about doing basically whatever it is that you want to do in relatively short order. Oh, I still have that in there. Quest book. I'm forever losing the quest book. There it is. This weird, when I sort this, the quest... Oh, excuse me. When I sort this, the quest book goes in like different slots. It should go to the same slot. So yeah, I already turned this in, but you just saw me remake it. So the next thing, I'm going to throw away this chest piece. The next thing that I did was make all of the red matter armor. I should have used this one. Red matter armor. So this is just making everything out of dark matter and then recrafting it with red matter, essentially. You do not have flight with this set. That's why I was still using the jetpack chestplate. And there's really, the only point to making this armor is to get the gem armor. But that actually is outside of our grasp right now. Even for as much EMC as we currently have, that is still way, it's good. It's going to take a lot of extra crafting. We have to make the Klein Star Omegas, which is that little golden flower that I had set up, and just the trinkets from this mod. So that's going to be basically its own episode. So, but in order to get started down that path, we do need to start making actual passive EMC so that we can start filling up our Klein Stars. So the first thing that we want to do is actually make a Klein Star. So let me actually throw this back on. So Klein Stars are very simple in this mod, like literally everything. We need Mobius fuel around a diamond. There's one. You're going to want 4 of these guys. You're going to want 4 of each type except for the last one. So now that you've got your 4, something to note is that they do not retain their EMC charge. So don't bother charging these up if you want to make, you know, a bunch of them. So you make one, it's got an EMC value, you throw it in here. Then you go in and you grab 4 of the next tier, just like that. You pop it into your crafting grid as usual, and then you tier up all the way until you get the Klein Star Omegas. And you can see they all tier up the same way. You can also throw that guy in there and pull him back out. There you go. Now you've got the largest version. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is we have to fill this guy up, and we have to use ProjectE blocks in order to do that. We can't just like throw emeralds in here like we have been doing into the transmutation tablet. So what we're going to want to grab is a couple of item conduits. I'm sure that we've got some in here. Yeah, we've got plenty in here. And then we're going to want to grab an energy condenser, which we've already seen one of those guys that's made from the alchemical chest. We're going to want an energy condenser. Around the energy condenser, you want to put 4 antimatter relays. And there are 3 tiers of these guys. They're very easy to make. Let me just show you the recipe really quick. So here's the first one. It's obsidian around a block of diamond and a piece of glass. Very easy. The second one takes the tier 1 plus dark matter and obsidian, and tier 3 takes tier 2 plus red matter and obsidian. Very easy to create. So you want to grab 4 of those guys, and then we want to have the collectors, or these guys. So these guys are a little bit harder to create. I actually can't make the tier 3 yet. We need a block of terra steel, which we got from chickens. Signalum glass, not a huge deal. Red matter furnace is just a dark matter furnace. It's just a furnace surrounded by dark matter. Very easy to create at this point. Tier 2, you need tier 1 plus a block of awakened draconium and enderium glass. Tier 3, we actually need RTG fuel, which comes from plutonium. This is getting into the IC2 reactors, which we haven't obviously done, so we can't really do that yet. You need, I believe, 12 of these guys, or 13, I think. I think you need 13. I don't know what I was counting right there. Let's break this guy. Alright, so what we're going to want to do, I like to build mine from the ground up. I know a lot of people like to build theirs from the, like, up in the air and then down, but I like to be able to walk under them and look inside the condenser, so this is how I build mine. This is going to be a chest, so we just break that one, and then the second guy right there. Okay, there we go. And then that way we can put more collectors on the bottom of these faces as well, not just the top. So we're gonna do all of this again. Just run around really quick, throw them up here. It's a really pretty starry night. It's winter here. It's just starting to get winter. It was snowing yesterday, and I'm getting a little bit of a cold. My poor hubby, I was saying before, is going for an electrical apprenticeship to become an electrician, and he's having poor thing is, why are those Mark 1s? I'm not paying attention. No, I wanted these. Dang it. Alright, I'm gonna put a cut. I'm gonna come back when I've actually built this correctly. Make sure you use your top tiers, not your bottom tier. Okay, so there we go. Now it's all created. So the thing to note about these guys is that you must have glowstone around all of the faces, as if you are not using Mark 3. So we're using Mark 2, we still need glowstone. Tier 1 and Tier 2, you have to actually light the faces up. So we're gonna get a stack of glowstone and put it all around. So basically what these guys do is you're supposed to be generating energy out of light, which is why you need glowstone. That is the whole purpose of this entire little setup, and that is really the heart of ProjectE. The reason why the Tier 3 do not need glowstone is because they generate enough light on their own that they don't need it. But obviously if you're using substandard, so pompous, materials, you need to add glowstone to it. So these guys get pretty freaking enormous. There we go. There's a ridiculous thing in there. Alright, so here's the basic setup. Now the reason that you want to leave a face open is so that you can still use this like you would before. Like say I need a bunch of glowstone, I can come in here and grab this. This is more relevant obviously on a pack where what you get out of these is actually useful and essential to progression. Here it's not that big of a deal, but it's just, you know, good practice to make it the way that you would elsewhere. So if you run into this mod later on, you're not horribly confused as to why things don't work the way that they should. So we're going to put a chest over here for later use, just in case we decide to make use of the condenser. You do not need to be there. I don't want you to extract on any of these things. Don't want extractions. There we go. Okay, there we go. So the antimatter relays, you take your Klein star. Okay, first of all, do not throw it into the flame spot. It will eat it up. You want to throw it over here into the charge spot. And it's going to now start pulling all of the EMC that we are passively creating from this entire structure and filling up this Klein star with it. Okay? So that is how that works. And it's just passive. It's just going to sit there and run forever until that Klein star fills up. And okay, let's move on. So the next thing that I did was kill the wither obviously for nether stars. So let me just get rid of this, guys. This is how out of it I was when I first did this. I didn't have any food on me. I didn't even have a bow out. I tried to kill him with this thing. I was beating on it with it was horrible. I did not die, but I was when I went back and I watched it, I was like, wow. Don't try to record when you have taken, cough medicine. It shows. Alright, let's get a bunch of arrows and I guess I can beat on him again just for hilarity. This is a tool, by the way. This is not a weapon. What else? I should probably get some food. So let's grab some steak and I guess let's grab a couple buckets of milk and we should be good to go. It's just the wither. It's not a huge deal. Alright, so what else do we need? We need skulls. That's the wrong type of skull. We're going to need wither skulls. Oops. Let's see. These guys. What are these called? Chips. We got a ton of these guys in here. Good to go. And then I think you need a block of that. Or you need 6 of them, I think, actually. There we go. And then soul sand. Alright. So, there we go. Let's go pull the wither back in here. I did not contain him, so the first time that I fought him, so I'm not going to contain him this time. We'll just let chaos reign for a little while. Alright, here we go. He didn't blow this up miraculously, but I feel like I got really lucky with that. Maybe he'll blow it up this time. So the last time that I did this, because I didn't contain him, I was slightly hovering off the ground and he was just flying. He just kept flying up and up and up and up. Hey now. Rude. Ah! Missed. It was a horrible miss. Are you going to be on the ground now? No. You're just going to do that thing. Come on. That kind of looked cool. That looked like one of those, the fighter pilots that fly in formation over, games and stuff. The trails of fire behind the jets. Ah. Rude. I guess I shouldn't lead him towards the farm. He's invulnerable right now. This thing doesn't do any damage. It says that it does 21 damage, but to the wither I think it does like 9 or 10. Not very much. For modded, not very much. It would probably be ridiculous in vanilla, but... you know. Stop that. Stop it. Thank you. Okay. Everything's on fire. It was mostly me setting stuff on fire. He still didn't blow it up. Oh! Oh, he took out a small portion. No, let's not kill the mobs. I said I wouldn't kill them. Let's put, like, an obsidian block there. Did I get a slab back? I got a slab. Okay, we can fix that. So anyway, so there's killing the wither. I think that the better option would actually be to slap down an RF builder, have it build an enormous square, and then I will use the structure, like the frame of that square, as the foundations for where our skyscrapers are going to be, in this, like the dilapidated skyscrapers. That would probably take up a lot less time. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a builder. Builder, RF builder, this guy. So we're gonna need a machine frame, and then this dude. What did we need? Bricks. Do I not have clay? Yeah, okay. Let's just get a stack. And then make these guys. And then we've got that, okay. Alright, there we go. So this guy, let's set him down right here. Alright, he's gonna need power, so let's get a point. This is pressing all kinds of buttons. As I do, you guys should know by now. Alright, and then we're gonna need, I believe, a shape card. Let's see, let's look at... let's see. A shape card. Yes, I believe this is what we want. More bricks. Let's just throw a stack actually into the system. Okay, so then the shape card. So we are going to want to build an enormous hollowed out square. And so from the city would not have been laid out according to this. The city would have been laid out according to its own thing, which would have this enormous structure back here, which looks like it might have been maybe like a zoo or something, you know, with the way that the enclosures are set up. This probably would have been at the end of the road. This would have been some kind of cap. So this street right here, this gray concrete, is probably the main avenue. And what we can do is we'll come back later with a maybe like sandstone and make like cracked sidewalks running alongside of this. So this is the main avenue running through here. And it's not very big though. Although there's no reason that this wasn't just like a little kind of offshoot, right? We could do like a little broken parking lot out here, and then the street could be 5 wide rather than 3. So let me get some concrete out and lay the actual the foundations of what this would be. So because a chunk is a 16 by 16, so basically we can just build a giant sphere inside of this, or a giant square inside of this chunk, and this will serve as the structure for our skyscraper. It is going to be our power plant. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is one chunk right there. And then the draconic sphere can sit on top of it. Select the first corner. So we're going to build from here to here. Okay, there we go. We're going to come down here and put that guy in there. Now we want to build, let's open this. We want to make it hollow. We don't have to build it back out. You know, a cylinder could be kind of fun. The reactor inside of it won't be the most efficient thing possible, but it could be kind of cool looking. Should we do heart? Let's do a cylinder. That'll be a little bit more interesting. A hollow cylinder. There we go. So now we need to supply it with, oh, dang it, power, which we can put on the side. And then we need to put a chest there so that it can actually build the structure. Now we need to decide what we want it built out of. Yeah. Yep. I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, this is what we're going to build it out of. We're just going to waste a ton of steel. A chest on top with all of our building material. And did I make a lever? I did. Okay. Then we're going to give it a redstone signal. Oh, and there it goes, just like that. It was ridiculously fast. There is our reactor base. Okay, so what I want to do is decorate the front of this guy with the seared windows that are full of gelid cryothium. So to make this relatively fast and painful, did that just, oh no, okay. We're gonna automate filling these because unfortunately the actual buckets of cryothium don't have EMC value, so we have to manually fill all those tanks, and that just sounds like a nightmare. So what I have done over here, if we just reconnect these guys, is set up a little bit of an automation process. So I know that 29 is the exact number of tanks that I need to fill. This was just me experimenting over here, but oh, why didn't you connect? Insert? There we go. So we need 29 filled tanks. So basically, rather than bucketing them in by hand, we just attach them and they're automatically going to fill up. And then this is just a hopper and a chest filling the magma crucible, which is pumping into the fluid transposer, just going up and over and auto-filling these guys. So we're just going to do this until we get 29 of them, and it is a whole lot faster than, you know, filling them by hand. So now that all of this is installed, the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to put the builder down on top, and we're going to have it create a hollow sphere. So that will give us the outline for the draconic cube. And once that is in place, I'm going to start building a tree around this, and it's going to be like the tree has been radiated and is consuming the reactor building. And it's also going to be, it's going to go like curve up into the sky with the branches being crisscrossed, and it's going to be kind of what is cradling the draconic cube rather than having it look really sci-fi and actually floating. We're gonna have the branches, you know, kind of looking like it's like jutting through the sphere, and, you know, following our theme of nature having taken back the city. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. Now what I want to do is, like, the tree is trying to recover, you know, the further away that it gets from draconic core, but I'm not so sure if this really looks, it kind of just looks like it was sheared. Also, so this is willow wood as well as poplar wood, and to me the poplar wood looks like it's kind of pocked a little bit, like it's sick. So down near the base we've got a whole bunch of willow wood, and then as it goes up it gets more and more irradiated, so it's just poplar wood up at the top. And I did a lot of curving with the branches, so it's like kind of hugging the sphere, like as if the sphere is kind of drawing the branches in, it's warping them around it, except for that one that is kind of spearing right through it, right in the middle there. And then we've got a little one coming up at the back, and then this one little hero branch that is trying to get away from the corruption of the radiation corruption. I've been playing too much Extinction. But yeah, so actually I haven't been playing any Extinction at the moment. I have been watching other people's Let's Plays. Because I don't have time to write and make my own Let's Play and play Extinction. But it's okay. Let's see, so I can't, my novel will be done in about a week and a half, and then I'll have a little bit, like a week or so, to get in as much arc as possible. Let's see, before I have to start the next one, so, you know, gotta balance things, priorities. Does this look any better? Let's see. It's just, maybe it's just, it looks like it's sheared, mostly probably because it's so flat right there. So let's add a little bit of texture. Okay, so I'm gonna work on this in between episodes. Yeah, I like how that's coming out. I'm going to work on this a little bit more in between episodes, and when we come back next time, we're going to actually put the reactor in there. Oh, I also forgot. We don't actually have entry into this building. We're not allowed inside. There's a security device here, a security interface, and we do not have the password. It just blinks red at us. That's very saddening. However, as all video game logic goes, if you can't get in the front door, there's usually like an explosion, and a conveniently placed explosion. So we have to get in through this little leaking side area, but I'd imagine the druid doesn't come over here all that often anyway, but while exploring the city, she has kind of stumbled across the hollow inside the tree, where it's not a natural hollow, it's something probably exploded in here. So there's irradiated water leaking out that is currently infecting this beautiful willow that used to live here. Well, it still lives here, but it's mostly dead now, so it's still here, but it's mostly not living. Oh man, I think I'm gonna change this armor out for probably like Terra Steel armor, or something a little bit more druidic than this, because right now I just kind of look like Daredevil. It's not very in theme with our story. But anyway, alright guys, I'm going to call it here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time. Bye! Oh god, don't die.